If you have an aging parent, live independently as you age, or plan to, this conversation could save you time, money, and a lot of stress. So stay tuned. I'm Sandy Bobles-O'Neil, the founder of Colorado Springs Town Tidings. Be in the know on the go for all things Colorado Springs, delivered right to your inbox. Today, we're spotlighting a local business that helps families navigate one of life's most overwhelming decisions, finding the right senior care. Care Patrol of Colorado Springs and Pueblo provides expert, compassionate guidance for assisted living, memory care, independent living, nursing homes, and in-home care at no cost to the families they serve. Please join me in welcoming Laura Cooley, the local owner of Care Patrol.
Hi there, Sandy. Thank you for having me.
Hi, Laura. It is so great to have you, and I'm so excited for our conversation. So, Laura, before we actually talk about Care Patrol, I'm just wondering, who are you outside of that title? Are you a Colorado native? And what were you like kind of growing up? What did you do before Care Patrol?
Thank you for asking. So I consider myself a semi-native. I was born out of state, but I've lived here since I was 8 years old. And I grew up in Arvada, Colorado, outside of Denver. I grew up loving to camp and hike and play outside with my friends, probably like a lot of children of my generation. We spent a lot of time outside getting into trouble. And then professionally, I worked in the corporate world, but during that time and while I was a child up through an adult, I spent a lot of time with seniors. We had my grandmother living with us, and we took care of her for a few years. I was a candy striper. I sang in the church choir at nursing homes, and I've always had a special place in my heart for seniors. And after about 30 years in the corporate world, I decided I wanted to do something that was for me. And I knew I wanted it to be with seniors. And I had honestly looked hard at buying a non-medical home care agency. But what I realized as I started to learn a little bit about it wasn't quite a good fit for me, because I wouldn't be spending time with the seniors. I was going to be spending more time, hiring, training, firing, those kinds of things. So working with the actual employees who'd get to work with the seniors. So that's when I stumbled across placement, which is what Care Patrol does. And guiding families just made sense to me. My father had gone through hospice, and that was a very eye-opening, confusing, stressful situation for me because we didn't know how to navigate it, where to go, who to ask for help, and it resonated. So that's what brought me here 14 years ago to Care Patrol.
Wow, that's quite the story. So what did you do in the corporate world?
I worked in medical device and pharmaceuticals. I was not in sales. I was in purchasing, logistics, those kinds of things. So I worked in the actual manufacturing side. And I loved it. It gave me a lot of great experience and opportunities. But I was ready to go try to do something for myself.
Right. Okay. I get it. And I also have a lot of experience with seniors. Even I was similar to you in the fact that I always resonated when I was an old soul, I think, when I was a kid. And I always resonated with the grandparent kind of people. Those were my friends more than my peers. My peers were just mean, and grandparents were not
Yeah.
necessarily. And so I always gravitated to them, and I still do. So I have a special place in my heart for seniors. And again, this is another reason why I'm so glad to bring this to my audience. So for you gave us a little background, and was there a personal moment, maybe with your own family, or maybe something you've seen that first opened your eyes basically to how complex senior care decisions can actually be?
Well, starting with the experience that I had shared about my dad in hospice, but I've had other friends along the way who've experienced things with their own grandparents and parents that it really brought home to me that there's a need for people to have an advocate, someone who can consult and educate them on what the options look like. I think nobody can operate in fear, right? And make good decisions. And fear comes from a lack of information. So really what our team does is educate and inform folks so they can make that decision that feels good because they know they have all the details, all the information they need.
I am so with you on that. I totally, absolutely 100% agree that fear comes with lack of information. Although some people do get overloaded and they can't
Sure.
do it. They just want to be guided. They don't want all the information. I'm a person who I need to take in the information and then I can make the decision. If you're just saying, do this, do this, do that, I'm going to ask why. And I'm going to ask
I'm a
where,
why person too, totally.
not to annoy the person who's giving us the information, but my brain needs to process and then kind of see, because there's a lot of decisions in life, especially for senior care, that you don't want regrets. You do
Right.
the best you can with the information you have, but you want it from somebody who has the right information, not some fly by night kind of person, or they just kind of started and they have a little bit of information, but not the whole picture.
Or they
And
get a
so,
list from the rehab or the hospital and they don't know how to qualify any of those options. Yeah.
absolutely. So I'm there right with you. So I'm wondering, Laura, why Care Patrol specifically? What made you say yes to owning the Colorado Springs and Pueblo franchise?
So actually, I had bought into another franchise called Assisted Transition, and 9 months after I joined, they were purchased by Care Patrol. And it was actually the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Care Patrol has been around for 30 years. It was founded by a medical social worker who completely understands the challenges of safe and appropriate discharges and making sure you're vetting the partners that you're working with. And so it's been a fantastic relationship for like I said, 14 years now.